What's up, guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 1998 Chevy S10. Up front is a 5.8 liter V8, and down below is a 4-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this Chevy S10 because this is not your regular S10. This has been small block Chevy swapped. And so we'll be talking a lot about that sort of mini truck culture and all that goes with that. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form, takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. But let's get back to what we want to talk about, which is the Chevy 355 V8 under the hood. Well, it's really a Chevy 350 that's been punched out to a 355 that's been bored out a little bit. And that's what makes this truck so special. Yes, it is a mini truck and it has the patina, it has the looks and all of that stuff. But it's very interesting to be driving a small block swapped S10. Try to say that 5 times fast. Because this truck never came with any V8 options. You either got the 2.2 liter inline 4, which is what this truck originally had, or you could take a step up to the 4.3 liter V6, which I'm a big fan of, but they never got a V8 in this chassis. Even going up to the S10 Extreme was just a worked over 4.3. This has 8 cylinders, and so it's interesting to be driving an S10 with actual torque. The low-end grunt of this truck is amazing, and I was very curious to see how this truck would feel and drive. I didn't know if it would be good, bad, or ugly, and honestly, it drives great. It drives like it should have came like this, mostly from the factory. Now, this is a carbureted engine where all S10s of this year from the factory were fuel injected, so you do get that carbureted smell. You know, it definitely engages the senses. And you do get that chop at idle, which I love. But the power is fantastic. It really has this nice, torquey drive to it. And it doesn't feel unmanageable. It doesn't feel like if I put my foot flat to the floor, I'm gonna spin out of control and end up in a fail army video. Now, there was a lot of extensive work to put this V8 into it. As you can tell by the engine bay shots, there's no longer any wheel liners. The exhaust had to be bent to fit around the steering shaft. Totally custom ECU, going to the stock fuse box, but custom ECU. And of course, a bunch of other bells and whistles. But look, this is a V8 shoved into a Chevy S10. Now, paired to that V8 is a 4-speed automatic, and the normal S10 would have came with a 4-speed automatic as well, but this is the 700R4, which was pretty much a predecessor to the 4L60E in Chevy's lineage, if you're familiar with that transmission. It's fine, it's doing the job, it's automatic, it thinks for its own. Last but not least, this S10 is rear-wheel drive. Now, in the era, you could have found 4-wheel drive S10s, but this is 2-wheel. Most mini trucks are, and that's how we like to keep it. So how does it feel to drive the V8 swapped S10? Well, like I said, really with the engine, it really shares those thoughts. It's a really rich and lovely experience. If you've ever driven like an older Silverado or the C/K series trucks from Chevy, you kind of know what I'm talking about. I have been cruising through a neighborhood right now, and I don't really touch the gas. I just kind of let the truck do its thing, and the torque just carries me along. Visibility is the same as it would be in any other S10, and ride quality is a little worse just because this has been lowered. It's a little bouncy. It doesn't have wheel well inserts, so it rubs and scrapes and bumps and bippity boppity boopities. So it is quite the experience. Like I said with the engine, it engages all of your senses, and touch is most certainly one of those. You don't normally get that sound out of an S10. That is wild. With that stuff out of the way, we'll talk about the interior and do a quick run through that because it's mostly stock Chevy S10 stuff, but a couple added bits here and there. Well, in front of me, I have the stock gauge cluster. Off to the left is the oil pressure and coolant temperature. In the center is a speedometer, and off to the right is the battery voltage and fuel. This is the stock steering wheel. However, it has been flipped upside down. So this is how it's mounted. To drive it straight, you drive it upside down. Apparently, this is a mini truck like trend thing. I have no idea why. If you have any insight on that, please let me know in the comments down below. I'm very curious as to why mini truck builders tend to flip their steering wheels upside down. Very strange. Off to the left, I do have an aftermarket ProTac tachometer, as well as a climate control vent and my headlight switches. And moving out of the door, we have the latch to get in and out, crank for the window, and that's it. Moving into the center, we get 2 climate control vents, an aftermarket radio, because any radio in this era is not fantastic. Passenger airbag off, which is on the left. And then we have our custom switch panel. So this is for the V8. We don't get any climate controls anymore, unfortunately, but the red button starts it, fan, fuel pump, things like that. And then down below, we have more added gauges for the oil pressure and water temperature. These actually work, where the ones in the stock gauge cluster do not. Then we have an open center console. However, we do have cup holders, so we will do a big friggin' bottle test. And surprisingly, it fails. The reason I say surprisingly is because the earlier generation, the 1995 GMC Sonoma, actually passes. So for the S10, they reverted back to failing in 98. Very, very strange. But this V8 swapped S10 fails the big friggin' bottle test. Now, the seats are super, super comfortable. GM of this era knew exactly what they were doing, and I love them. And you can flip it up and use the bench seat if that's something that you wanted. However, this truck would have back seats, but as you could see, the battery is now occupying that space. They were little tiny jump seats that pop out of the side. I have other GMC Sonoma and Chevy S10 reviews on my channel. If you really want to see me cram my bloated carcass back there, you're more than welcome to find that on my channel, but I'm not showing you here today. I am retaining some dignity here today in this particular video. However, we do have the bed. We'll talk about the bed real quick. Nothing interesting back there besides just the regular Chevy S10 bed. It does have a really nice spray-in bed liner that looks like it's never been used. So that is definitely a plus. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and this has been purposefully distressed by a previous owner, actually by the name of Sam. He did all the distressing. Here's what the truck looked like before they did this. It's rattle can, grinder, all that stuff, and I think it looks really, really cool. Mini truck culture, and we'll talk about this in a second, it's all about standing out and being unique, and so that was Sam's way of making this truck look and feel unique. And I think he did a pretty good job. You know, I was so excited just for the thumbnail of this picture because I think the truck looks really, really cool. But with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving a V8 swapped Chevy S10? Well, first of all, it's very interesting. It's very in your face. Although the V8 is still kind of lopey and lazy from the 80s and 70s, the 350 wasn't really this poignant, stricken engine. There's just a lot going on. The steering wheel's upside down. The ride is harsh. It's loud. It's in your face. I have glowing lights looking at me, not from the factory, but from added bits. It's an interesting and unique experience, to say the very least. But the more and more I learn about it, the more and more I love mini truck culture. Because there is a sort of sense of rebellion that goes with the mini truck culture. Because mini trucks were made to haul and be utility vehicles, and yet mini truck builders go, no, this is now going to be a work of art. We're going to take a tool and make it beautiful. Much in the same vein of bedazzling an anvil. It's sort of anti of what it's supposed to be, and I think there's a cool culture within that. And that's exactly what this truck is. From the factory, when this rolled off the assembly line in 1998, it was meant to be a fuel-efficient, economical city truck. It was affordable, parts were readily available, it was reliable, and it was simple. And now, over many different owners, because the original owner, Sam, who did the distressing, drove it with the 2.2. He didn't do the V8 swap. Someone else along the line did the V8 swap. Someone else along the line added this, added that, added those. Even the steering wheel, they mount it in a certain way from the factory, and some previous owner said, no, flip it upside down, screw you. Be the anti. I love that feature. Maybe that's why they flipped the steering wheels upside down in mini truck culture. I don't quite know, but it definitely feels that way. This has now become the antithesis of what it was originally meant to be. It has now become what it wasn't supposed to be. It's become the anti. This is a big middle finger to what the S10 was originally built for. And that is cool. That is truly making a statement. That is being unique and different. I can promise you very few things in this world, but one of them is that this is a unique truck, and I haven't driven anything like it, and I'm not sure I'll drive anything like it ever again. So if you have a cool mini truck, I would love to check it out, because I've really enjoyed getting into this culture and learning what it's all about. It's an expression of your own character on four wheels with a big lazy V8. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to this truck's current owner, William, for letting me take out his S10 V8. This is such a unique and wild experience. What a wonderful, wonderful truck. And I'm so glad I was able to bring you guys along with me today. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.